Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chair Lotto, for holding this hearing with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and thank you for your testimony today. Ensuring reliable and affordable energy is critical to the mission of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. I'm glad to have this opportunity to discuss how this impacts my home state of Georgia. Commissioner Lissert, the state of Georgia is accomplishing what many areas of the country seem to be struggling with. We're moving with speed to power data centers, hyperscalers, and advanced manufacturing while also balancing affordability for all customers. This is just not talk. We have the results to prove it. For example, after announcing a 3-year freeze to base rates, Georgia Power recently received approval from state regulators to move forward with 10,000 megawatts of generation to keep up with Georgia's rapid growth. It's because of this very growth that customers will experience rate stability for years to come. Georgia Power committing to customer savings of at least $102 for the average retail customer beginning in 2029 after the rate freeze. I believe that Georgia's vertically integrated market structure is a big part of this success story. I know the state wants to keep delivering on our shared goals of speed to power and affordability. I also know that your commission is working on several rules that are designed to address many of these issues in other parts of the country. Commissioner Lissert, do you think it's possible for other parts of the country to benefit from the example and success that we're seeing in the Southeast?
Thank you, Congressman. I want to thank you for that question. I know Georgia is certainly an outlier in excellence, and it starts from the outstanding Public Service Commission, Public Utilities Commission that you have there. You've got a lot of great public servants there that has moved the needle in so many different ways. The rest of the country could certainly learn from the state of Georgia, especially on the interconnection efforts that they've undertaken. I know they've certainly had a past former NARUC president there, Commissioner Pridemore, that certainly has moved the needle. I think, like the great American poet Toby Keith has said, we need a little less talk and a lot more action. I think the state of Georgia has definitely taken that mantle.
Good, thank you. Chairman Sweat and Commissioner Rosner, FERC maintains permitting authority for interstate natural gas pipelines, but has very limited and targeted role in permitting interstate transmission lines. Some policymakers and advocates have called for permitting parity between how pipelines and transmission lines are treated. However, this parity argument fails to consider the fundamental differences between the bulk power system and the interstate natural gas pipeline network. Chairman Sweat and Commissioner Rosner, can you talk about the nuances between pipelines and electric transmission systems in terms of resources planning, engineering, and cost allocation considerations, and how might a state's visibility into their own electric infrastructure better inform state permitting authority compared to federal takeover?
Thank you for the question, sir. Well, the bulk electric system is probably the most complex machine that humans have ever built. And by that nature, it is incredibly different from the pipeline system, which is a common carriage system. When it comes to permitting large interstate transmission projects, there are considerations of states who very respectfully have choices over the resource mix that they allow or do not allow to be built in their states. For example, many states prohibit the production of coal plants. Others allow it. Those types of choices will very much change the cost of electricity in those states. And when you have an interregional transmission line, the cost of electricity is then mathematically spread across people with very different political and environmental views. When it comes to a pipeline in comparison, from the wellhead to the LNG export terminal or wherever the pipeline is going, the interests are shared among the pipelines and the shippers. All of them are trying to get gas out of the ground and moved pursuant to FERC's mission to ensure plentiful supply of natural gas at reasonable prices. And so the interests are much more aligned when it comes to the pipeline system versus the electric system.
Commissioner Russell, you got 13 seconds to...
I'll be very brief and very fast. I think we need to do both quickly. And so, you know, I know Congress is you've given FERC some responsibilities on the natural gas side, given them a separate set of authority on a backstop basis on the transmission side. My perspective is we really need electrons. We need molecules too, and we need a natural gas grid and a power grid that are both ready to accept those. And so defer to Congress for how best to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.